All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a tool that many of us have used, but let's be honest, few have really mastered. We're going to look at Google Scholar, not just as a search engine, but as your own personal, strategic research assistant.
So let me just ask you this. Do you think Google Scholar is only for students writing a thesis, or maybe professors trying to get published? Well, if that's what you think, get ready, because you might be sitting on a huge strategic advantage that you're not even using.
Because the truth is, this thing is a powerhouse of knowledge for literally everyone. Professionals, managers, anyone who's just curious and a lifelong learner. It connects you directly to solid, evidence-based strategies and deep insights, and it's all completely free. So let's kick things off with the first and most fundamental skill, finding exactly what you need.
First up, we're going to go way beyond just typing in a few keywords and hoping for the best. We are going to learn how to find information with, surgical precision. This is where the real power of Google Scholar starts to come alive.
Think about it like this. A standard Google search is like wading through a huge, noisy, chaotic market. It throws everything at you, blogs, ads, a whole lot of opinions. But Google Scholar? That's like walking into a perfectly curated library. You get a focused, clean stream of credible academic sources, the very foundation of verified knowledge.
So to really sharpen your search, you need to use what are called operators. If you put quotes around a phrase like crisis management, boom, you'll find results with that exact phrase. Using or helps you broaden your search, while the minus sign lets you cut out words you don't want. And that author operator? Oh, that's your secret weapon for finding everything published by one specific influential person in any field.
And beyond operators, the filters are your absolute best friend. You can sort by relevance to see the classic, most important papers, or you can sort by date to get the absolute latest research. Need only stuff published since 2024? Yup, there's a filter for that. You can even zero in on an author's entire profile. This is how you go from thousands of results to that one handful that really matters to you.
Okay, so finding information is just step one. The real magic, the real game changer, happens when you can manage it all effectively. You're turning a flood of data into your very own personal knowledge base. Let's see how to do it.
And trust me, you are going to need a system. Why? Because you're navigating a sea of, get this, over 389 million documents. It's so easy to get lost in all that. But luckily, building your own personal library is actually super simple.
The process is incredibly easy. You find an article you like, you click that little star icon to save it, and then, and this is the key part, you assign it a custom tag, or what they call a marker. These markers are completely up to you. If you're a student, you might organize by subject, history studies or thesis research. But if you're a professional, you can create tags for specific projects or interests, like AI leadership trends or market research 2025. This is what turns your library from just a random pile of articles into a structured, searchable knowledge hub that's built just for you.
So you can find information and you can organize it. Now, let's put Google Scholar to work for you. Let's turn it into an automated assistant that keeps you right on the cutting edge of your field pretty much effortlessly.
The secret here is a killer feature called alerts. Seriously, think of it as your own automated research scout. You set it up one time and it just works tirelessly in the background, scanning for new articles that match your interests and delivering them right to your inbox.
So for instance, a manager who's interested in the future of work could create an alert for AI in leadership. And from then on, anytime a new paper on that topic gets published, they get an email. That is how you stay ahead of the curve, practically on autopilot.
Okay, but what about ideas that are already out there? How do you trace their impact and see who is building on that work? Well, this brings us to another super powerful and often overlooked feature.
I bet you've seen this a million times next to a search result, cited by, followed by a number. Well, that number isn't just for show. It's a doorway. It's a doorway into the ongoing scientific conversation about that idea.
Clicking cited by is like following intellectual breadcrumbs. It literally shows you every other paper that referenced that original work. This lets you see how an idea has evolved, how it's been challenged, or maybe how it's been applied in new ways.
It's basically a map of an idea's entire journey.
We've covered finding, organizing, and tracking information, but there is one final and maybe the most crucial skill of all, and that is applying a critical filter.
You have to remember this key piece of advice. Just because something is in Google Scholar, not everything it brings you will necessarily be good. And this is exactly why you have to learn to distinguish the quality of your sources. For example, an undergrad thesis might have some really interesting ideas, but it hasn't gone through the same tough validation as a peer-reviewed article. Peer-reviewed articles are the gold standard because they've been scrutinized, they've been checked, and they've been approved by other experts in that field. Knowing this difference is absolutely key to building your arguments on a solid foundation.
So let's just recap the skills that give you this huge strategic edge. You can now find things with precision using advanced searches. You can organize your own personal library with markers. You can stay right on the cutting edge with alerts incited by. And most importantly, you know how to apply that critical filter to make sure you're using top quality sources.
Look, you now have the keys to the world's largest academic library, and you have the skills to navigate it like a total pro. So the only question left is, what incredible insights will you be the first to unlock?